Hello everyone, I'm Sina and this is Sina Draws, and in this video I'm going to talk about these lettering sets. Well, actually not long before, with no digital graphics available. If you were going to do lettering, you had to use rather plastic templates like these, or metal or paper templates like these ones. Or you had a more sophisticated way, and it was using these lettering sets. And in that case, by using pens and scribers and rulers like these, you were actually able to draw any letter and shape needed for drafting and graphic. What I have here are lettering sets all the way from 1950, 1966, and 1973, all from Kufel and Isser Company. And last but not least, this set from Rotring, made in West Germany from late 80s. But as actually all of these sets had the same idea in mind while designing, in this video I will focus mostly on this last set from Leroy, made in 1973, which has the most similarities with the latest products of the company from mid-80s, before actually the production line was shut down. And any dissimilarities with, for example, this Rotring set or older products of the company will be discussed during the video. But first, let's have a quick review of what you are about to see in this video. The contents of the box will be discussed: the ink bottle, the proprietary mechanical pencil, the pen holder, technical pens, the scriber, template rulers and their comparison, comparing different scribers from all sets, comparing the pens included in the boxes, and comparing them with other technical pens available at the market. And if you have technical pens of your own, which one can't be used instead, and which one can be used instead. How to install mechanical pencils on the scriber, and discussing what kind of mechanical pencils are suitable to be used on the scriber, from brands and different models available in the market. And then the ink will be addressed. We're going to discuss the ink bottles available in the boxes. We will have a quick review of the brands and types of ink available in the market and discuss which one is suitable and which one isn't suitable to be used, in order to the best result to be achieved. And then we will move to the most important part, which is the scriber itself, and how to adjust it to achieve the desired angle, and a quick review of pen sizes available and how to ink them up. And the last section of this video, as you see, includes two actual works done using these pen sets to experience their actual performance in real situations. Well, without further ado, let's start with the case. As you see here, it's a hard case made of plastic. It has two interlocks, and as you see here on the box says Kufel and Esser Company, which is the owner of Leroy brand, Morristown, New Jersey. And inside the case, leaflets like these talking about the scriber, the pen sizes, which are obviously American Royal Standard, and on the other side, the pen holder, the tracer pins, regular and fine, the technical pens included described in details, and the guarantee card with some more information here. And if you take a look inside the case, you're gonna see that it's completely cushioned, really nice and well made. The tubular ink bottle, similar to which can be found inside Rotring or Pelican Graphos. And as you see here, they're completely identical. And if you take a look inside my channel, there's a video available about Graphos. And in that video I have discussed thoroughly about these ink bottles and how to use them and how useful they are. And there is a proprietary mechanical pencil with a strange nib shape. Also comes with a lid container, something like this. And also a pen holder like this, which seems at the first glance something like these dip pens, but it's actually there to receive the proprietary pens included in the box. And later in this video, I will show you how to install those pens inside this pen holder and use them just like a dip pen or a technical pen. And for the sake of comparison, let's take a look inside Leroy and Rotring sets. And as you see here, while there is only some sponges inside Rotring sets to keep the rulers in place, the Leroy sets are completely cushioned. Both cases are hard cases of the same quality, and Rotring completely keeps up, if not overtake. Although I personally prefer Leroy locks. Inside the box there are some Leroy technical pens available, something that wasn't in older boxes. The number of them and sizes can be quite different depending on what kind of set you've acquired. There's only one barrel available that can be screwed at the back to acquire a full-size pen. I personally prefer the barrels of Rotring variant 1000 series. And as you can see here, they are completely interchangeable, but the Rotring barrels have better and superior quality. And they are designed with the same concept in mind while designing. And these ribs at the back provide a quite good seat for the cap to be posted. And as you can see here, the Leroy technical pens are completely identical to what was produced by Kohinoor later. Inside Rotring sets, the same concept is followed. Only one barrel is provided with different sizes of the nib. Screw it at the back and you're gonna acquire a full-size pen, and be aware, don't over tighten it. And if you notice the cap, there are quite difference between older versions of Isograph and newer versions. And as you can see here, this is one of the older versions from West Germany. Okay, and moving next, we are going to reach to these tiny pens provided only in Leroy lettering sets. They're actually a simplified version of technical pens with the same inking system. Putting it on the table simply pushes back the tiny rod which is connected to a piston as well. When the piston is pushed back, it simply opens up the ink channel and lets the ink to flow. But the main tools you're actually encountering with in these lettering boxes is called the scriber. Later in this video, I will completely and thoroughly talk about the scribers, and differences between Leroy and Rotring scribers will be discussed in this video, and also how to install pens and pencils on them. And as for the rulers, they actually act as templates in these sets, and they come with quite various shapes, sizes, and figures. The tiniest one can be found in Leroy sets is 000, but in Rotring sets they are provided up to 50, which is equivalent to 0.1 or 0.13 based on DIN standard. The standard rulers provided in Leroy and Rotring sets have fonts similar to each other, something like this, and they all actually flip like coins. Lowercase letters combined with numbers are engraved on one side and uppercase letters on the other side. You can choose between different rulers with different fonts to achieve versatility during your project. Okay, that's enough for the content part, and let's move to the next section, which is how to use these sets actually. To keep your desktop organized, you can detach the pen seat, the scriber, and the desired ruler, and put the whole case away. Okay, let's start with the scriber. Here I have different models. The one comes with Rotring, later versions and earlier versions of Leroy. And of course this huge one that is going to be addressed first. You can see how big it is compared to the other rather tiny versions. This is where the pen is going to sit. There's a little notch there that keeps the holder in place. You can easily loosen it and interchange it with the other holder available at the bottom of the scriber. And that's actually because there is two different diameters of pens available. The bigger one receives the bigger diameter pens, and the smaller is there to receive these tiny pens. And you can compare the two diameters available here side by side. And as said before, these two different holders are interchangeable. I have taped one here to keep it in place. And as it's easier to be caught on the camera, here I show you how to install the bigger one, and the same is for the smaller one. Just unscrew this piece here like that, install the pen, and screw it back. It needs to be secured in place tightly, so the only part that moves when touching the paper is the rod inside to open the ink path. So test it to make sure the pen is secured in place completely tight. Okay, let's wrap the pen section here and move to next, which is technical pens. And as mentioned before, scribers are designed to receive pens like this one. But as you see here, I have laid down technical pens from different European, American, and Japanese brands. And what we are going to do in this section is actually to test and see if they fit inside scribers or not. Well, take a look at the nib of this pen, which is going to sit inside this little hole on the scriber. And from the technical pens I have provided here, the ones with similar nib shape are going to fit inside that hole on the scriber. Just as you see, I'm pointing here on the screen for you. And the ones with different nibs, like these Kohinoors, or this Rotring variant or various script, are not applicable inside the scriber. And the same can be said about these vintage technical pens. And as you see, these two Stadlers with tubular nibs are applicable, while this Rotring rapidograph with this conical nib shape isn't applicable at all. So, for instance, this Centropen made in Czech Republic, the Stadler Marsmatic, Standograph Stano Professional are all applicable, and from three different nib shapes of early Rotrings, only this one is applicable. Rotring Rapidograph is applicable as well, and Rotring 2000 series, which later was called Isograph, can be used either. The Faber-Castell TG1S and obviously the Leroy technical pens themselves can be used both. And as for the Japanese brands, the Hope and Pendle Ceranomatic are both applicable. But as said before, these models of Kohinoor, alongside older versions of Rotring 1000 series, are not applicable. So bear this point in mind while buying technical pens. And the same can be said about mechanical pencils. Later was mentioned that inside the box, a proprietary mechanical pencils with this special nib shape is available. And from all these mechanical pencils from different brands with different nib shapes, only those with the same shape can be used. And for instance, all these ergonomic mechanical pencils can't be used at all. The same can be said about these conical nib-shaped mechanical pencils. And for instance, this Rotring Tiki, or this Japanese one, Panac Double Knock, or this Rotring Rapid, or this Platinum Pro Use, although all are excellent pencils, but none of them can be used based on what just was mentioned. And hopefully the same is true about these marvels of engineering. Graph Gear 1000 by Pentel, Super Pro Mecha by Otto, and the other one SP507M by the same company, which both are amongst my best mechanical pencils, and also this other Pentel, Graph 1000, although all are well engineered and well made pieces, but none can be installed inside none of these scribers. And only mechanical pencils with the same tubular nib shape can be used. similar to which is provided inside the box. And if installed properly and secured in place tightly, they can easily be used instead or alongside the original mechanical pencil in order to achieve variety of nib sizes or lid colors. And let's test another one. For example, this Rotring 300, as you see, can be installed flawlessly and will perform perfectly. There are other pens, for example, from Mono, like Graph Zero or Graph, that their nib have the same shape and will perform the same. And last but obviously not least, the ink. The original ink is made by Gunther Wagner, the same company that makes ink for Pelikan Graphos. But based on my own experience, any other ink suitable for technical pens can be used, as well as calligraphy inks fine enough to pass through the feet. But don't use thick calligraphy inks because they can easily clog pens. An unclogging, especially in finer pens, would be quite troublesome. So make sure you have chosen the proper ink before anything else. And now that we know all the stuff available in our inventory, we can start inking. First choose the desired ruler size, then pick up the appropriate pen and place it inside the scriber as described before. Tighten it and make sure it's not loose and won't come off during inking. Just like you see I'm doing here. Okay, and this pin here is called tracer pin and follows the template shapes. There's a screw here which is called adjusting screw and needs to be adjusted so that the pen nib only barely touches the paper. And as your scriber has two arms, one fixed and the other one adjustable, there's a wheel beneath here that lets you adjust the angle of tracer pin arm. And this gives you control over slant and angle of letters. And as for the tracer pin, it is noteworthy that it is double-ended. And if you unscrew this cover, inside it you're gonna find a fine groove tracer pin. And on some rulers you're gonna find it says, use only with fine groove tracer pin. And as for other rulers, you can both use regular or fine pin, but it's suggested to use regular one. If you notice the letters engraved on the ruler, you're gonna find they are a bit angled to left. But when you use the scriber with the tracer pin adjusted at its default position, the letters are going to be drawn completely perpendicular, despite the slant of letters to left. But if you want the letters to be angled to right, you're gonna turn this wheel, and by adjusting the tracer pin arm, the letters can be changed all the way from completely perpendicular in this position to completely angled and slant in the other position, and anything desired in between. And as for the pen sizes available, if you take a look at this chart that says Leroy reservoir pens, which is the term Leroy prefers using instead of technical pens, you can see the various sizes of them available. And for instance, 0 is equivalent to 0.017 inch, which is roughly equivalent to 0.4 millimeter. And if you take these two technical pens into consideration, one the size 0 from Leroy and the other zero point 0.4 from Rotring, and put them side by side, you're gonna see they are roughly identical. On the Leroy templates, only the size from its own standard is mentioned, like 4, 2 or 000, while on Rotring templates, all three standards are mentioned, like 40 here, which is from Leroy standard, and 0.2 millimeter here, which is obviously from metric standard, and 0.18, which is from DIN standard. The Rotring scriber is somehow identical to what can be found in Leroy sets, except for the adjusting wheel, which is improvised in the middle instead of beneath, and has a smoother mechanism if you ask me. And now that we know virtually everything about the sets, it's time to start inking. Tape and fix both your paper and your ruler as well. And in order to achieve desired outcome, they need to be both completely fixed. Now carefully align your template with your ruler. And now insert the tail pin of the scriber into the rail you can see here on the template. And during lettering, the tail pin needs to follow this rail completely. And the tracer pin follows the shapes on the template. And as the result, the pen conveys the exact shape on the paper. My suggestion is to use a blunt nib syringe to fill the pen with ink. Because like this, you have better control over the amount of ink. And you can also fill different syringes with different colors. And this way you can change ink color constantly during process if needed. Now, let's put this. Well, in the sample displayed here, for the upper line, the pen number 4 with black India ink is used. And as you see, the letters are a bit angled. And for the lower line, the pen number 1 with red India ink is used. And here is another sample in which all the letters are completely perpendicular. And the same number 4 pen, this time in combination with another ruler size, is used for the upper line. And for the lower line, pen number 00 with the same previous ruler is used. And one of the upsides of these lettering sets is the combination of different ruler and pen sizes. Something can't be achieved while using regular templates. And here is when one simple question pops into mind. While one simple template and a technical pen can do the job, why bothering with carrying away these rather complicated tools? Well, the answer is rather simple. In a traditional template, something like this, naturally, because of these joints, some parts of the letters are missing. And that's obvious because all these separate parts need to be somehow kept in place. And no matter the size of your template, they all suffer from the same problem. And for example, in this one, the letter B, D, O, P, R, all somehow are missing some parts. And this will significantly affect your lettering quality. While in lettering set templates, you won't suffer such a defect. Soon there will be a second episode to this video in which I will address this kind of scribers with control over height and slant of letters. And to make it short, by moving that red circle to anywhere on this diagram, on the grid or anywhere between, The height and the angle of the letters can be easily changed. And due to the complexity of this tool and variety of options available, it will be the subject of another video. So make sure you subscribe not to lose that video. And as for the other future videos, there will be a complete video about the evolution of technical pens. And also, there will be a comprehensive comparison between different technical pens, considering their weak and strong points, build quality, fineness of the nib, and other features. And also a complete review of fine liners or disposable technical pens, addressing different aspects of each one. And also a comprehensive overlook of engineering compasses, comparing their precision and build quality. And there will be a same video about lead holders, like this fantastic one from Bohemia, or like this vintage Faber-Castell. From 2mm to 5mm lead holders, considering different leads available for them, and the different use of those leads. And next will be a video about rare engineering tools like this hatching ruler. And even if you take a look at previous videos, you're going to find some fantastic ones, like this one about Pelican or Rotring Graphus, which you will definitely find quite useful. Well, many thanks to you for staying with me up to here. Don't forget to like this video and share your comments with me. Your comments are the only way of interaction between you and me. And as said before, there will be a second episode to this video, in which I will address this height and slant control scriber. And also some other aspects of these laddering sets will be discussed. These tools are really fantastic and fun to use, and during less than a year that I have encountered with it, many nice features of it were revealed to me, that I will try to share them with you here. Well, that's it for now. Have a nice day.